Ooh, we're gonna hit it up like this. This is very like, I wasn't expecting the live to be like this, honey. All right, so here I am. It's Kendrick, everybody, from Providence Tarot. Leo, I'm coming to you with your July 2020 reading. Let me turn down the Kurandan. It's weird because, like, I'm using my iPhone right now. I'm not necessarily using my, what am I saying? I'm not using my, iPhone, okay? So that's what we're doing, and it's kind of like a weird setup, but I think we're okay. Let me know if my volume's okay because my mic could be a little bit muffled, but I'm watching and I'm paying attention. I'm going to be using the Morgan Greer Tarot deck, and I'm also going to be using the Archangel Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue, okay? And then I might even clarify with some Lenormand, okay? So just keep me updated as to what my volume is like to let me know. Give me a thumbs up to let me know. And I'm going to go ahead and get shuffling. As you know, my ruling planet, Venus, is in Leo. And it's also my chart ruler. Well, basically the same thing. So here we go. Let me shuffle these cards. What was going on? Oh, I have your energy here. Oh, you saw it already, though. Okay. Well, my hands are wet now. It's a little bit slippery. Huh? What does that mean? Why is it slippery? Is there something going on that might be a little bit uncomfortable? Are you trying to gain your footing somewhere? Right? That's kind of like the Mars and Leo card, right? Which is Seven of Wands. I wonder if that card is going to actually come up, you know? And I was also getting like rickshaw at the beginning, so whatever that means, maybe Rick, Sean, something like that. Ricky, Sean, you know? Richard, Sean, Shauna. Okay, here we go. Well, that's it for Leo. I'm going to go ahead and cut your cards here, and then I'm going to lay them out. All right? The Mercury retrograde has been kicking ass. Even in like the residual, you know, like the aftermath of it or in being in the shadow phase, right? So I'm kind of feeling that too. I wonder how you guys are feeling it. It's kind of like in your 12th house, especially if you're a Leo rising. It's in your 12th house of like hidden things, blockages, you know, kind of like where you kind of get into these situations where it's an undoing or a bit of a kind of like not downfall, but a downtrodden type of thing, right? Feeling victimized about something because the Mercury in retrograde is happening in your 12th house. Do you feel like you're having to sacrifice something? You're feeling vulnerable? You're feeling like you're succumbing to something or you're having to give in, or maybe you might be in a holding pattern or waiting, something like that. It's interesting because I do kind of feel like that too. So let me go ahead and like lay these out for you. Make sure you like the video, please. If you like it, you know, if you don't like it, maybe, you know, there's amazing readers on YouTube that I also listen to. That's how I got to start, you guys. I was listening to a bunch of readings for months because I had a breakup happen after 10 years. And then one day I went to the grocery store and I walked home a different way and I found two cards in the snow on the ground behind a gate. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles has come up for you. So this is talking about responsibilities and handling things that really matter to you. You know what I mean? And this is really taking focus, okay, being focused, really getting a lot of things done, financial matters as well. Maybe saving money is something. And it's also a project, or it could be something of a creative venture, or you could have a creative attitude about how you want to do something. You know, this is Capricorn, but it's related to the Three of Pentacles, which brings a little bit of flexibility and movement, right? Agility into whatever it is that you're doing. So it's going to be challenging, whatever it is. Maybe it's your body, maybe you're just being physically exhausted. You could be feeling that, but then you're also being hopeful and optimistic about whatever it is that's challenging you. You know what I mean? In whatever kind of way. So you could be going through a lot and you could be taking the impact of a lot of things, right? Because this is related to the Empress, and it also is related to the Three of Pentacles, which is Mars in Capricorn, but the Empress is also taking in, receiving a lot. So this could be you receiving some sort of like money, some sort of income, or maybe you having to invest in something that is kind of like paying off for you in some kind of way. Or you could just be trying to like work with someone to achieve something that is going to come into some form of fruition, right? Because the threes and the queens do speak of fruit, and they do speak of ways that things are being nurtured and that things are being given, right? And also receives, right? It's kind of like when you give, you receive, and when you receive, you receive. So that could be something. Somebody could be just focusing on like what they want as well. You know what I mean? Somebody actually might even think that they know what's best for you. Okay? And the queens are talking about water and emotions, but this is also related to that Three of Pentacles. So somebody could be expressing, right? Queen, water, what's best for you, what they think is best for you. So somebody could be giving you that sort of like advice, right? Or they could be trying to like help you see something by showing you in some kind of way. You know, it's like they're trying to change your attitude about what it is that you're doing, and what might be happening around you and what might be going on around you. You know, you're still trying to work hard despite all of the stuff that's going on around you. Yes, Hoboken. You know, I used to live on Washington Street, and I met a girl at my job yesterday after reading, and she told me that she lived in Hoboken. Hoboken is a theme, y'all. Hoboken is, I liked Hoboken. It was cute. So, yeah, this is talking about all of that, you know? So, let's look at the center of the reading for you, Leo. That's where I lived. I lived on Washington Street. It might have been like 416 or 3 something. It was in the 3s and the 4s, maybe. Isn't there a college over there like Stevenson College, something like that? Oh, it was cute. It was very modern. Okay, so let's flip over this card. Page of Swords. It is beautiful in Hoboken. Page of Swords talks about new beginnings and changes that might be happening in a process, right? It's a new inspiration, right? Being able to use your skills and your intelligence, right? Your mind and your impressions that you make in some kind of way. This is related to Saturn, the world card. So it's talking about putting your skills to the test, right? And this is also an interview as well, you know, a higher up, a person in charge interviewing, or you just speaking. There's some communication that's taking place that's starting to like shift and change things, you know? You're at the beginning stages of something that can become something more for you. Just because the page, it's equipped, but it's not yet the knight. It's not yet the queen. It's not yet the king. So there's a lot of growth here that is possible, right? Because the pages are all inspiring growth, and they're aspiring something as well. You know, so this is thinking about your aspirations and where you would like to go with this new venture that you are attaching yourself to. You know what I mean? You're confident here as well. And this is for everyone, every Leo. Staying positive, and this is also thinking quickly and thinking on your feet, you know? Um, yeah. So things like that are happening. My sister got engaged last night, by the way. Which is so funny because she is not a Leo. She's not. 932 Washington Street is the salon. Beautiful. The vibration of the people there is beautiful. And to be yes, I like it. Amazing. Let's see what the immediate influence is over this Page of Swords that's bringing in a new opportunity for change and a new perspective, right? New directions here with the pages. Always talking about a new direction. Ooh, a lot of work to do. You know what I mean? This is kind of like having a lot of responsibilities, having to think quickly, you know, take care of a lot of different responsibilities too. And also being held accountable for some things, you know. You got to take care of a lot of things too, right? So you're definitely needing to have a clear mind with this Page of Swords so you can handle all of these responsibilities that you have to handle. You know, I definitely can resonate with this. And the tens are just talking about lessons that you've learned along the way. You know, it's been hard trying to get to where we've gotten, you know. Um, it's also talking about the goals, right? We have a lot of goals. We have a lot of aspirations. we've got to kind of like also prioritize. So prioritizing is a great word to be using right now. That's a great mantra, right? Prioritization. Um, and this is also needing to free yourself from the confines of whatever it is that's holding you back. So you have to realize, understand what matters most, and you have to base your principles and your foundations on what matters most, right? What's most important and what's aligned with my goals at the same time. So there's a lot of things to think about, there's a lot of things to do, and there are a lot of different hats that you may have to be wearing at this moment. That's okay. You got the Page of Swords, so they're ready for that, right? Quick thinker. You have anything quickly, and that's okay. Whew, ciao. All right, we're here. Take care of it. Help us get through the challenging times. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip over the sun. Okay, I'm backlit. I'm like, I can't stand it right now. The past. Okay, in the recent past, it's kind of like change from conflict, right? New horizons, new perspective, very a psychological improvement, maybe a mental improvement, right? Opening up that headspace so that you can experience some new ideas and some new thoughts that are going to be inspiring you in ways that make it feel like things are going in the right direction. It's giving you something to go off of, right? This is also just being inspired by the people around you that give you encouragement and that tell you things that are beneficial for you to hear, in that kind of way, whatever that is for you. Okay, and this is Mercury in Aquarius, which is exalted, right? So we're thinking of an elevated energy of Mercury, being able to think thoughtfully, okay, and not just thinking quickly, but thinking thoughtfully about things, right? It's the prioritization of the thoughts too, so they can lead you somewhere, you know. Um, it's not necessarily at the writing down point, but it's kind of like you're getting somewhere from a place where you just felt like empty inside, You're moving on from that place of emptiness too. Because look at her, or look at them. We don't even know who that is. It's kind of like you may have not even known who you were, because Aquarius is like really much about the identity and mastering that, mastering your own identity. So you're one step closer to doing that. Okay. This six is also just talking about your own mental health, right? So you got to be in a better place mentally. So there are some things that really do need to be taken care of, right? And usually the sixth house is always something that has to do with difficulties, just because there are difficulties and challenges that come from us always having to search for a need to improve a situation, you know. So this is a search, this is a need to improve a situation so that you can be in a better headspace, okay? Yeah. And this is getting a sense of the bigger picture too. It's like the small bits, right? And then it's also the larger picture, okay? So that change of the big picture change, the perspective, you know, you're becoming slightly more enlightened here. Okay, so that's allowing you to have a shift in your perspective. Okay, it's like the light inside, you know. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at your sun. Okay, yeah, so this is kind of like moving on from a point of feeling like emotionally controlled by your thoughts. And also, we've got to realize what we're passionate about and what we may no longer be passionate about. This is having compassion for yourself and what your needs are and getting those needs met. Maybe there might have to be some sacrifices that take place, you know. Also, you may even be resenting a situation that you're just staying attached to, right? This is really a great need for change, because it's like the change is going to make you feel empowered and more motivated, right? You may be emotionally complacent in a situation because it's intimidating to think that taking care of it or doing what it is that you need to do or facing some kind of fear. And it might be an underlying fear, right? It might be a subconscious fear in some kind of way. You're having to have you have to have strength. You know, it's actually taking more work for you to cope with whatever it is that you're staying aligned with or attached to in some kind of way. It could be, you know, feelings from the past because this is Saturn and Saturn is talking about time and Pisces is the last sign. You know, it's also ruled by Pluto esoterically and it's an 8 in the 8th house of Scorpio. So this is talking about a transformation taking place. You know, you have to want it. You know, do you really want this transformation to take place? Do you really want your ideal situations to start to come into view for you? You know, it's like your imagination, your imaginative sense of self is being vacuumed by whatever it is that you're staying in, right? Because you're not able to use your creativity, you're not able to be as imaginative, you're not able to use that that sense of optimism and healing. You know, you're closer to it. You're closer to it. I feel like you have a great feeling. There's a clairvoyancy here, right? You feel something. You don't know what's on the other side, so you're afraid of the other side of a situation. You know, it's like, if I do this, then what are the consequences? Or, you know, something like that. That's from probably Leo sons, because, well, yeah, well, for anybody who has like a strong Leo placement, you know, your sun could also be in your 5th house too, because Leo rules the 5th house, you know. Anyway, let's look at the moon. And in the moon position, we have the 8 of Pentacles, which is also another 8 related to that 8 there. So there's a need to feel empowered. There's a need to do things that make you feel empowered. It's healthy for your mind. You know, we have to understand that our minds are very sensitive. You know, all of the 8s have something to do with the mind. The 8s are a mental suit. You know, they just are. And here we have the Page of Swords, which talks about the mind, and it talks about a young mind that's very impressionable, you know. And then in the past, we're talking about being able to use our minds correctly in the ways that we were meant to when we understand and we perceive, right, things. You have to listen to your perceptions of things because they're sort of like guiding you as well, you know. Clairaudiency as well. Anyway, the 8s are an intellectual suit. If I will be healthy mentally if I'm doing things that make me feel like I'm productive, you know, and I am being of service to society, you know, and also really kind of galvanizing something and bringing something into form because of a great passion that you have to succeed, right? And it's also, we're thinking about what's going to be good for us, right? What's best for us. These are the things that I need to do to feel like myself. And these are the things I need to feel in order to feel, in order to become what I want to become, right? Or what am I saying? This card is like, I will never become what I'm meant to become if I feel attached to that which I already was. You know? It's kind of like not wanting to let go of something because it may be something that you know. You know? You have some sort of like intimate connection with it. And the eights are sort of like obsessive too, you know? Obsessive, obtuse, oblong, you know? So you might be just kind of like stretching something or pulling something or holding on to something. Because they're in the eights, there's a sense of there's a fixity to those eights. So you gotta let go of something, you know? Making something be what you want it to be, you have to try to be flexible too, right? Because things are going to happen that are out of your control, right? Eights. And it's like not being too emotionally upset, not getting too, you're learning lessons of dealing with how you're emotionally triggered when things are out of your control, right? Because there's red here too. And instead of being in that space, you could actually choose to mutate, change it, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what's going on in the anxieties for you and the hopes and fears, right? Jupiter in Leo. So this is expansion too. And it's also change. But then the Six of Swords is here as well. So we're thinking about, what we're learning, okay? We're also new foundations, new principles of self, okay? Renewed passions of self, right? Feeling exhilaration, right? Um, and this might even just be a boost in your ego or a boost in your pride, your sense of pride, right? Um, but then the ego or the sense of pride might be being affected because this is in the anxieties as well. But this is a really good card, usually. Okay, it's only the position that it fell in that makes me say that, oh, okay. But it is saying like you should be proud of yourself, even though you might be having a little bit of frustration or anxieties. You have a lot to kind of like look forward to, because yeah, you do. And this is the beauty of, you know, um, being able to look towards the future. You're like, okay, I don't have to um, always be that which I was. I can change, and situations change, and people change, and all of those things, right? So this is also just like a situation that's going to bring in a bit of luck for you, and it'll change the situation for you. You'll feel better about something that you were probably worried about prior to listening to this reading or prior to having an actual experience in your waking life that makes you feel better about something. Let's see what's in the Mars. Sagittarius, Knight of Rods. So there might be a fire sign in you that might be coming towards you, or this could be somebody that might be, just trying to cheer you up, okay? And this is also saying that you just have to bring more attention, focus, assertion, affirm these goals, affirm these things that you want to do, and get them done, because it's in the Mars position, so it's talking about your aggression and your action and how you do things. And the Knight of Rods is talking about being like very much ready to carry some things out and get the job done. So I want you to really be diligent and really be focused in this moment right now to do whatever it is that you need to get done, right? Because there's a little bit of Scorpio here as well, so there might have been like a little bit of an emotional hole that was keeping you from like accelerating or from feeling as motivated or from refocusing back on your goals or something like that, but the Knight of Rods is definitely moving forward towards something else, right? So you've got your eyes on something else now, or someone's got their eyes on you, or you've got your eyes on someone else. I don't know. I think this is kind of just like you and your motivations because, I don't really do like love readings or relationships and stuff like that. It's more personal for me. The Knight of Rods, yeah, definitely moving towards something quickly, doing a lot of things, a lot of energy, a lot of passion that's driving you towards your goals. And that's great, because the Knight of Rods is ruled by Jupiter, which is a benefic planet, and also Neptune. So you have to be creatively inspired too on your journey, right? Allow the experiences that you're having to inspire you to want to have even more experiences, newer things to have, right? More skills, okay? Building some sort of like, you know, skill set. Let's look at your Venus position. Another 8. What's going on? So you're fearing the unknown. You're fearing what other people might be thinking or saying, right? What their impression is. And then the 8 of Swords is also just like interfering with yourself, right? It's Jupiter. It's the most Gemini thoughts, and it's an inner debilitation. So it's kind of like you're just allowing your thoughts to take control of your, how motivated you are. You're having scary thoughts, right? And it's making you feel kind of like stuck in this place of maybe even regret, right? And it's almost kind of like you feel like you can't move, or like your hands are tied in some kind of way. It's almost like you can't control how things are going on around you. And this is like not something that's happening to you. This is just you thinking and imagining that it is actually happening to you. But it's not, you know? This is kind of like the voices in your head that kind of get the best of you. They're going all over the place. They're going to the most extreme places as well, your thoughts, right? So you've got to calm yourself down in some kind of way. And this is just realizing that when you put so much energy and attention into the negative thoughts, they will consume you. And that's what's happening. And it has something to do with relationships, um, because it's in the Venus position. And, some of you might even feel like unattractive or something right now. I don't know why that is. Because, yeah, it's in the Venus position. And, yeah, I don't know why that's coming up. But that's coming up. But, you have the power to also deal with those thoughts and process those thoughts in a way that's going to be powerful enough to kind of sift through, right? So with the 8 of Swords, I would say relate that to the Strength card, right? The force of the mind is very strong. So now let's go into the or the Star card, which is 17, which is also an 8. So it's kind of like you have to pull away from all of those things that sort of like influence you in your environment, you know? So it's like the negative influences of your thoughts, or all of the things that are going on around you, right? Or the things that you can't control are driving you crazy, maybe mentally, psychologically. Not crazy, but you know what I mean. I use that term very loosely. Um, and this is also kind of like the power of the word, right? What was said, that type of thing, you know. So let's look at the last 3 cards. We have the energy moving forward, the future, and the ascendant card. 6 of Cups, which talks about, looking at the past, maybe having some mixed feelings about the past, but then the past also makes you think about your future and also how that can improve, because the 6s are talking about improvements and beautiful energy, right? So there's a cleansing that needs to happen. There's a spiritual cleansing that is taking place. Um, This is also you spending a lot of time thinking about having intimate thoughts from a sweeter time, or maybe like when things were, you were a little bit younger. So you might even be having deja vu too, in terms of like, I don't know, connecting your past and your present. It's almost like the strings are there. Like you can see how things sort of like began and how they have come to what they have leading up to now. But it's kind of like you have to have those intimate relationships that kind of like lead you and guide you to those places of revealing things to you that were otherwise hidden, right? It's the beauty of healing. It's the beauty of being openly communicative with that, the emotional beast that lives inside of you, right? And you're also being initiated. I don't know why I'm saying that, but you're the thoughts that are being initiated in your head are kind of flashbacks. So some of you are just like thinking about some things from the past. You're thinking about your children and making your life better for your children as well. Some of you are healing the inner child, that type of thing, you know, right? And there's a sense of emotional strength that is being, you know, understood. Yeah, Ashe. This is great emotional strength. And this is sort of like realizing how strong you are emotionally. Yeah. And some things just make sense. It's also forgiving the past and forgiving people in the intimate relationships that we have encountered from our past. Forgiving ourselves as well. Realizing that we didn't know everything, you know, and that we were meant to make some mistakes because we had to fall and get up and fall and get up and fall and get up, you know. Ancestor work to break trauma and generational curses. Ooh, powerful. Very occult, right? Sun and Scorpio. And it's almost kind of like two different realities happening at the same time, but of different times. All right, now. Let's look at what's going. Okay, you surely did. You just spoke it up. The Hierophant, belief systems, and Leo is the fifth house, right? But this is Taurus, obviously. But this is just talking about your level of consciousness. It changes. You're like, oh, this whole time, this is what this was. I just didn't know it. I was sort of like in it. I was being it. I was living it. But then it had to take me coming outside of that place that I was residing in all that time to see who I was. I had to see outside of myself, right? Or I had to see outside of myself, or I had to see deeper inside of myself. It's either one. It's one or the other. You're in that fence inside of yourself, or you're out of that fence, getting a challenge of your own perspective and your own consciousness, right? This is children. So some of you, your beliefs may have changed since you were younger, or since you were children, or maybe some romantic relationships have challenged your thoughts. Maybe friends, family. It's kind of like everything your family taught you isn't everything that you needed to know. You had to have your own experience so you can come up with your own beliefs. You know, because you're the people that you come from, the generations that come before you, the people that are still alive, they have their own realities that they are trying to forge, okay, and craft. This is saying, you haven't had all of the experiences that you were meant to have in life, because there's always more to learn. There's always more to know. There's always more to conquer. There's always a challenge that is going to lead you to a win or a success, right? And I mean, like, on a deeper level, it's not just about the material things that you acquire, although this card is talking about that. So some of you could be becoming more established, right? You could have a greater sense of self. You've established a greater sense of self, and it's just coming from like making these realizations or having these realizations. And it's very meaningful. Mentoring yourself, being tested spiritually, physically, financially, all of that. So this could also even be an improvement in finances for you. This could be a new job, right? A new commitment that you are going to align yourself with, right? In a very fixed way. Like, I am doing this now. This is my new reality. This is who I am now. Now, and the Hierophant, Taurus is opposite Scorpio. So they have some similarities. So you're constantly changing, constantly transforming, forming a new being that was already existing anyway. Okay. Didn't I just say something about Scorpio? It just happens. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, I guess, reading, thank you, spirit, I get it, yes. But then I'll be like, no, really. Transformations. The power of transformation. Even if it intimidates you, even if it scares you, taking care of those things that you need to take care of. This is Pluto, dense, right? Appreciation, right? Going to the depths, maybe even going to some dark places. It's also a sense of rebirth, too, and peace that comes from accepting change, accepting things that are greater than you, accepting your strengths, accepting your weaknesses, accepting your fears, which lead you to assert yourself in a courageous way. It's time for you to receive this change and not fight it, and not feel bad about it, resentful about it. There's some things that you can't change, but there are some things that you can change. You just have to know where, like, it begins. And it starts with you and it finishes with you for the time that it is you. You have the ability to release your fears and accept what is. And that will set you free. And that will make you feel more empowered. It's going to open you up to something that you didn't know existed before. Yeah. Let's look at the Archangel Oracle cards. This is crazy. I do not like how low I am right now. People have always talked about my facial expressions. I guess I make them. Animated. Healthy lifestyle for some of you guys, okay? Eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimal health. That's for some of you. What is it that you're not allowing yourself to have that would be beneficial to you being just healthier? Or what are you not doing? Or where is something lacking for you? Healthy lifestyle is talking about everything: finances, friends, family, job, home life, um, relationships, all of it. Healthy lifestyle. And it's talking about practicing something too, because you're not just going to snap your fingers and things are just going to be the way that you wanted them to be ideally, right? It's like you have to work towards that. Yes, continue working hard. Leave those things behind that no longer serve you. You're leaving a place of conflict and you're going into a beautiful new situation or place of existence, right? And the emptiness that you felt inside, it's there so that you can fill it with new love or new experiences that are going to enrich you. Deal with your responsibilities, prioritize, and be optimistic and open-minded when you're doing so. Okay? You definitely are changing, and there are some things that are happening to you and around you and inside of you that you are consciously aware of, that are encouraging you and giving you that nudge and that mentorship that you need, right? Through like prayer, meditation, whatever it is, okay? Listen to the inner ear and say what you want, and then it will come to you. Don't have any anxieties about a situation working out for you. It's going to be fine. You just have to really put a lot of faith and belief into yourself. Be optimistic. Also, just kind of like understand that when you put positive energy into something, then you get positive results or you get positivity out of it, right? It makes you just feel like there's more to work with. So just be more flexible, okay? Because it's going to help you stay positive. The Knight of Rods is also saying then when you do that and you stay positive and you stay flexible, then you can actually get a lot more done and then you feel more accomplished, right? So we're trying to feel successful here. So do what it is that you have to do, even if it's hard, even if there's work, even if you feel, some form of whatever, stress, resentment, or just, discomfort. And I'm not talking about bad discomfort. I'm just saying you're like, oh, I hate doing this, or oh, this is so uncomfortable, or oh, when will this ever change? It's like it's only going to change when you make a change or you try to go for something different. Yeah? So let's do something different. And just stop worrying about, what other people might be saying or what other people might be thinking. It's really not important. You're interfering with your own progress when you do that. And you're making problems, and then you're turning those problems into bigger things, right? Stop doing that, You need to meditate. You need to understand that you are not your thoughts. Okay? Thinking about the past, having those feelings, just be kind to yourself, right? You're healing. And there's definitely a transformation that's taking place. Don't be afraid of it, Okay, Leo, I'm gonna go. I love y'all. If you would like to get a reading with me, email providencetarot.kendrick@gmail.com. Obviously, it's Providence Tarot here on YouTube, and on IG, it's Providence Tarot. My personal account is NYC Kendrick, so you can follow me there. And I do read at Shanti Bookshop and Crystal Gallery in New York City every Thursday through Sunday of each week for now, from 4 o'clock to 8 p.m. Sometimes I might come in a little earlier, but it's usually 4 to 8 p.m. Okay? What else will I say? I have also recorded the July videos for Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And there's some proofreads up, but I'm going to try to get some more in. I just have to take care of a few technical situations here during this Mercury retrograde shadow. Yeah. Okay. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.